My name is Hugo Campos, and I'm a heart patient living with an implantable cardioverter defibrillator. Each year, hundreds of thousands of Americans are implanted with pacemakers, loop recorders, and cardiac defibrillators like mine. However, not a single one of these patients has access to the wealth of personalized data that is continuously collected by their implantable devices. I believe it is time for us to change this. Pacemakers and ICDs are small battery-powered electrical impulse generators that are implanted in patients with slow heart rhythms or who are at risk of sudden cardiac arrest. In addition to providing life-saving therapy, these medical devices collect and store advanced diagnostic information pertaining to their normal function and a patient's clinical status. This information is transmitted to a secure and private network owned by the manufacturer of the device. Some of the data collected is made available to clinicians through a secure website, enabling them the convenience of monitoring patients without the need for in-office visits. However, this data is not made available to the patient who originates it. Studies have shown that remotely monitored patients experience a significant reduction in time from clinical event to clinical decision, and also benefit from shorter hospital stays and reduced costs per hospitalization. This clearly makes the point that access to information saves lives and saves money. Yet, even in light of such evidence, patients continue to be denied the right to access such useful and incredibly rich data about their bodies. The main obstacle, in my view, has been the cardiac rhythm management industry itself, which claims that a pacemaker or defibrillator is put into a patient's body for the therapy it delivers, not for the information it gathers. And that making this data available to patients doesn't fit their business model. The types of information collected by a modern ICD, for example, vary from trivial to potentially critical. Among other things, the device monitors its own battery voltage, the amount of time it takes to deliver a life-saving shock, collects and stores intracardiac electrograms, and monitors a patient's heart rhythm, daily activity, arrhythmia episodes, and even the buildup of fluid in the lungs, which is critical to patients dealing with congestive heart failure, for example. In addition, patients who are at risk for atrial fibrillation and atrial flutter have a higher propensity for stroke and heart failure. Atrial arrhythmias can also cause the ICD to deliver inappropriate shocks. So rapid patient awareness of atrial fibrillation is crucial for those at risk. I'm at risk of atrial fibrillation. Access to our data can do more than just help patients take control of our disease. It may also help with timely identification of device-related malfunctions and ultimately contribute to better patient engagement and improved health outcomes. Knowledge is power, and a patient privy to his data is an empowered partner in his own health and healthcare. Access to my device's data can help me track, understand, and manage my condition better, become more active in my care, and work more effectively with my providers. I rely on the FDA to protect me, and I need the FDA to stand with me in this quest for openness, access, and transparency. In the spirit of the new rules proposed last week by Health and Human Services Secretary Kathleen Sebelius that strengthens patients' rights to access their own laboratory test results directly from labs, I would like to ask the FDA to follow suit and publicly declare that patients also have the right to the raw data collected and stored by the manufacturers of their implantable devices. I have the right and the responsibility to care for myself, but cannot do so without information. It is time to fix this and put patients and our families at the center of our own care, and I call on the FDA to help us get there. Thank you.
So for the next about hour and a half, we are just opening up the microphones for people who want to ask questions. Again, I ask to please keep the questions short so that there's an opportunity for everyone who wants to get up to do so. If you do want to come up to the microphone, there are two of them on either side of the room. I'll just ask you to come up and we'll alternate between the microphones. Why don't we start over here?
Hi, Dr. Shuren, thank you. Again, I'm Hugo Campos with the ICD user group of patients with implantable defibrillators and pacemakers. We are going through a very exciting time in healthcare as we transition from a paternalistic model into a more participatory model in which patients are engaged, are asking to be empowered, and are asking to even be equipped, you know, to sort of like use the e-patient kind of concept to really take care of themselves and step up. And we're an untapped resource. I realize the FDA is, that's what we hear, the FDA is strapped for resources. And there is an incredible amount of people like me who are interested in participating and engaging in my own care. My question is exactly about this. What is the FDA doing, or particularly the Center for Device and Radiological Health, doing to equip and empower people like me, and again, sort of in the context of data access to these siloed networks that hold our data, all of these things. All I'm asking is to let me help myself. So that's my question. Thank you.
It's a great question because patients are becoming increasingly more savvy and involved in their own health. And that's great. And we need to do what we can to help them have the tools and have the data they need to make smart decisions. We're trying to do what we can with the data that's in our possession, and that's why I think you've seen the whole transparency initiative from the agency. Still a work in progress, but for what we have, we're trying to put more and more out there and in a usable fashion. We had put up on our website even a tool to make it easier for the public to start bringing in data on different devices, recall, experience, adverse events. Then comes a question about what happens when the data is owned by someone else, if you will, collected by someone else. And that's where we have less of the ability to impose, but we are looking for ways to facilitate in things like the technologies that will allow patients to get access to information and to make better informed decisions. I think you could see that reflected in a policy we put out recently on mobile applications. And those that would be a device we're calling mobile medical apps, where we try to strike a right balance between those kinds of applications that maybe it's a medical device, but we don't need to impose a lot of oversight and requirements on to let a lot of things innovate, but where those things are much more like traditional devices to assure that they truly are safe and effective. And that's one of the places where we're working, trying to make sure the technologies are out there to help patients. And the next thing is something I'm going to take back to our people about, is there more we can do about making it easier to get information about you that's collected about you available to you.
If I may ask just a quick follow-up question regarding data ownership. I obviously feel that the data that is collected by my implantable device and transmitted over network to Minneapolis and stored in servers over there is my data. That is not what medical device industry sees is at, and it's technically, apparently, it's in a gray zone. And I don't even understand it. So maybe you can help clarify that for me. Who owns this?
Some of that goes beyond our purview, but I'll tell you, as a patient myself, I view the data on me, it's my data. It's about me. So the point you raise is something we're going to take and talk about in the center.